Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, welcome to the longer podcast, How to Achieve Your Goals the Easy Way. And yes, there is an easy way. And if you think about it, everyone talks, gives advice, maybe gives a workshop, gives masterclasses in goal setting. And so many just go through the steps. But some forget that visualization of the last step. And the last step is not the last step just before you get it. The last step is having already got your goal. You've achieved it. You're just about to move on. And you see, when you know that that's a step and you have it, so you know the step, you have that step, things just seem so good. You feel so incredible. You feel so motivated. You feel so confident because you've already achieved it. It's as if you have already achieved it. And I do this in so many ways in my trainer's training. I had to visualize not getting the certificate because that wasn't it for me. It was sitting alone on these steps out on the balcony in Santa Cruz University, holding my certificate just by myself, saying, bloody hell, Cloughie, we did it. That was my confirmation. And the thing is, the weird thing about that was, when we were given the certificates, someone had forgotten to sign them. So the certificates didn't actually mean anything. That's so weird, so weird. But that feeling that I took through the whole of, it was July, a few years ago, but the whole of July, I had that sense, that feeling, Cloughie, we've done it. And that helped me through all sorts of obstacles and things like that, but we just did it. And that's the one thing that a lot of people forget. They think it's just, imagine you've got the goal. No, think of the very last step to guarantee that you've got that step. Because if you think about it, that is your feeling of the why, isn't it? Your why. Because if it doesn't feel great, then it isn't the right goal. Or you haven't just massaged the goal to be the right goal for you. You know, you've maybe just followed a path that your peers say this is the thing to do, or society, or whatever it is. But you get that feeling and you go, yeah, this is it. This is right for me. And that's what it is. Right for you, so it becomes your why. Now, some people also, even if they do that, they forget to anchor that feeling. Anchoring is stimulus and response. So when you feel that feeling, or the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that feeling that you've got that goal, you've achieved it, you're about to move on, you get that feeling. Now, when you think, when you're about to go through your goal, all the steps to achieve that goal, yeah, you can get that feeling, but to fire it at will, by firing off an anchor, man, you're motivated. Your unconscious mind goes, this is where we're going. You're telling your unconscious mind exactly the direction you want to go. And it makes all the steps that you put in front of you easier. And even if there are obstacles, like the hero's journey, you're leaving home, you're moving around different obstacles, mentors come along, all that stuff, that anchor will allow you to go all the way and come back home with that goal completed. Now, I'm doing a lot of this, but some start at the beginning of a goal. So you've got your goal, you know what you're going to do. We've forgotten about the last step, we've forgotten about the anchoring, but we're just going to do the goal setting. And what's the first step you're going to do? And then they work out all the steps. Now, problem is when you start at the beginning and you slightly go a little bit off to the left, or maybe a little bit to the right, or something distracts you, you're miles off course. And as you go miles off course, you tend to get deflated. Oh, this isn't what I thought. This doesn't feel right. You can think about your goal, but it's not tangible. You can't grip it in your hands because somehow you've taken a wrong step. So that doesn't work. So let's turn it around. Some really do get it right. Some really do get it right. And they think of the last step. They get that feeling. Some might even anchor it. And they don't start at the first step. They start at the very last step and work back through every step of the way. Every step in detail. So you know exactly what you're going to do. Now, in theory, that's the best thing to do. If this is my last step, what have I got to do just before that step? And what have I got to do just before that step? What have I got to do before that step? And bloody overwhelming, isn't it? That's great. That is a wonderful way to do it. Ish. I only say ish because it's my opinion. That's all. So my opinion. That is a better way. If you did those three things, get that feeling, get that why. Maybe anchor it, and then start from the last step. But that could mean waiting round or waiting around because you've got to do all that bloody work from the last step, the step before that, step before that, step before that. And then it's so overwhelming. It's overwhelming because you think, shit, this is going to take longer than I thought. This is going to take so much more effort. And sometimes it takes so long to get your foot on the first bloody rung of that goal, to make the first step, to make the first movement, that you're disillusioned, the motivation's gone, and you've forgotten the bloody why now, because you spent so many times, well, that step there, then I got to do this, then I got to do that, then I got to do this. So there is a different way. And I think it's a really easy way. It's an easy way to, I think, achieve your goal, but also to enjoy the process. Because if you don't enjoy the process and the actions of the goals, yes, some might be difficult, but you still got to enjoy it and have that feeling of the wish fulfilled, have that feeling of the last step, and feel motivated through. Because if you don't, you won't get through the hurdles, the little obstacles in the way. You won't see opportunities to be able to circumvent them or even find that the goal can be even better. So what's the answer? You're probably saying, what's the answer, Cluffy? I know you are. I'm not going to give it to you. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's made myself laugh, that has. Anyway, so what's the answer? The last step is so critical. It is critical. And sometimes it's difficult to find the last step. We tend to think the last step is this, but it's actually one more step on. Some people, we used to talk to our therapists, or we used to train therapists in getting their, the program of getting a lovely life, professional life of being a therapist. And we'd say, what is your last step when you're supporting yourself? And they go, my diary is full. My diary is full. Now I know I've got it because I've got a full diary, because at the moment it's one or two people. And you go, okay, yeah, fine, that could be a last step. But what if they cancel? What if they cancel? Okay. What about if I see a check? Okay. Checks are in the old days, by the way. But even if someone puts some money through, it bounces. It doesn't come right. They don't commit. Maybe the last step is paying your tax bill, because that means you've done the work. You've been paid, and you're celebrating by paying your tax because you've earned the money that you want. And the tax bill is the tax bill you want to pay because it demonstrates how much you've earned. That could be the very last step. Now, to me, some people say, I don't want to pay tax. But if you know that you are contributing, but you know that that would mean that you have earned supporting yourself and you had a great time doing it. Maybe that's the last step. There you go. So you need to think about that last step to make sure it is the very last step. Remember what I said about my certificate? It wasn't bloody signed. But it wasn't until I sat by myself and looked at that certificate with the signatures saying, Paul Clough, certified trainer of NLP. Yeah, we did it, Cloughie. And even that we did it, Cloughie, is a wonderful, it's in there all the time with me now. We did it. So that's important. That is really important. And we also have to think of responsibility. Again, sometimes you see, I can give a sort of guarantee. But the guarantee is you have to do the will, have the will to do whatever it takes because you really want it. And it can't be anybody else's. You can't be doing it for anybody else. It's purely for you. Because that feeling of the wish fulfilled, the feeling of completing is just yours alone. Remember? It's just yours alone. Yeah, other people get the benefit, but it's yours alone. So just be honest. And also be honest how long you're going to take. Now, remember when we think about how long it will take, sometimes in the short term we go, oh, well, we can do this, this, and this, and this, and we overestimate what we can do in the short term. But countering that, we always overestimate what we could do in the long term. So we have to take into account what we've got to do in our life, in the world, in the short term, because you've got other responsibilities. But also think, well, it's going to take this long. Maybe it's going to take 6 months to get this goal. Well, 6 months, could I do it in 5? Honestly, do it in 5? Or is that too tight? Maybe 5 is doable. Maybe it's a month. And you go, okay, a month, and I've got things to do, but I think maybe put it back to 3. Or is a month too short? Maybe it's 5 weeks. So just get it right. Be honest with yourself. Look at the stuff you got going around you, because those will pull against that. We forget, I can do this goal, but you forget you've got other goals or other responsibilities. So just look at the responsibilities you've got. Look what time you've got available. And when that time available, how long will it take? And remember, you've got to take a bit of time out, by the way, because you can't do 7 days a week for however long. You need a bit of time to yourself to just relax, because you need to give yourself the present of just being by yourself sometimes, or just going, I'm taking stock of myself. I'm going to do a review. I'm just going to enjoy myself for a day. Do nothing, because that's revitalizing yourself. Maybe just spend the time just thinking of that wish fulfilled, that last step. Now, here's the thing. We don't work from the last step. We have that because we're going to anchor it, because we said that's what people do. That's the good thing that people do. We look at the last step, the one that we know that guarantees us success. We've got success. We anchor it. We might even give ourselves a little word. We've got this, Cloughie. We got this. Or whatever yours would be. It'll come to you. Because we're going to fire that off with every step along the way. But now we look at, where would halfway be? Where would halfway be? What would I have to be achieving at the halfway stage in order for me to get to that goal? Where would the halfway be? Now, sometimes you might go, well, halfway that's quite a long way too. Maybe that's 3 months down the line on a 6 months contract. Or contract, what are you talking about, Cloughie? A 6 months project, a 6 months goal. So maybe you want to bring it down a little bit. Make it manageable, because all these steps want to be manageable so you can hit them. And when you hit them, you go, yeah, we did that. Come on, bring on the next one. We're moving, we're getting there, we're moving towards what we want. We don't want to go away from stuff we want to move towards with a wonderful sense of purpose and success. So maybe you just take 4 weeks. Where would I have to be in any length of goal in 4 weeks? Now, obviously, if it's a 4-week goal, you want to make it in 2 weeks. Yeah, halfway, because halfway is doable. But on a longer project, a longer goal, 4 weeks is manageable. Whatever you do, though, it's got to be halfway if it's less than 4 weeks, or 4 weeks if that's less than half. Because anything can be done in 4 weeks. And you can manage 4 weeks. You can look at what your responsibilities are in 4 weeks. The things you need to do to make sure when you think of where you have to be in that 4 weeks in order for you to get to your goal, it's doable. Because when it's doable, you can commit. So in that 4 weeks, you say, okay, what's the very first step just before that? So it's like the first step, the very last step then. The very last step before that last bit of that 4 weeks that I'd have to achieve. Because now you're on the one, just the one before that, and then the one just before that. And now you're only working out the steps in 4 weeks. Now they're manageable. They're also, you can do it pretty quickly, and it's not overwhelming because it's only 4 weeks. And if it is overwhelming, bring it even smaller, maybe 2 weeks. Where would it have to be in 2 weeks in order to get to the 4 weeks, in order to get to the next 2 weeks after that, 6 weeks? Easy peasy. Easy peasy. In simplicity, there's genius. And this is so fucking simple. But it means with every step of the way, firing off that anchor, getting that feeling and that word, go through every step, you are going to crush it every 2 weeks. Well, every day, if there's a daily part that you're going to do, because it's doable. So just break it down into those periods. We're going to visualize the process in a minute, because I want you to go through this process. It'll be like visualizing, a little bit hypnosis, maybe. Well, you're going to go into a different place because your eyes will be closed. You'll be visualizing, seeing something in your mind, which is, another dimension. And the reason your eyes are closed, by the way, you don't need to. No one needs to close their eyes to visualize. We daydream every daydream day of the week. But it just takes away the distractions of everything out there. So you can go inside and really give your time to yourself. And the reason I want to do it this way is because a lot of goal setting is all consciousness, or using your conscious mind to do everything. And that's fine. That's fine. But you're not just your conscious mind. You're your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. And when they work together, boom. Absolutely, boom, you've got it. So that's why I want to get this. They call it alignment, being congruent. Because when you truly believe unconsciously and consciously, this is the thing to do, this is the direction to go, you get that feeling. You're unstoppable, man. Woman, guy, whoever you are, friend. So here's what we're going to do. And I'll just explain a little bit of the process first, and then we'll just do it together. So first of all, you're going to state your outcome. What the hell is this goal? Be specific. And I'd like you to, a lot of the times write the thing down. Get it out of your head onto paper, because when it's on paper, it's out of your head. And when it's out of your head, you can start looking at it, make sure it's exactly the way you want it. So you know what it is specifically, and you can always come back to it again. Then we're going to imagine the very last step, the step that you've already got it. We're going to feel it. And we're going to feel it with all our senses, which is weird, because you're going to feel it through your sight, your hearing, the sense of smell, taste of success, all of that. And you really get that feeling. Then we're going to anchor it. And anchoring is just getting a finger and thumb. And as you get that feeling, you're going to squeeze it. Do it uniquely. So it's not something you would normally do. And then just do this. Maybe we'll do a little 5-minute quickie on anchoring, but it's simply that. Just finger and thumb together when you get that feeling. Because the next time when you want to fire it off, you squeeze that finger and thumb together, say the word that comes to mind, you'll have that feeling again. Then you're going to imagine how long it's going to take. And then halfway. And if halfway is too long, 4 weeks. And if it's a short-term goal, halfway. And then we're going to say, well, this is a milestone, but a milestone is this other goal. We're just breaking our goal into mini goals. So what's the last step to know I've got that? And then we'll just go back and unconsciously as well, get your unconscious mind to work out the steps along the way, just before that and just before that. So you can intuit the smaller steps. The smaller steps are easy to do. They give you confidence because you're winning and winning and winning. And sometimes you can say, well, I can do 4 steps at once. No, just do 4 steps on the run. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll get there quicker, honestly. And each time, you're going to fire off the anchor. And then what we're going to do is, when we open our eyes, we're going to schedule the bloody thing. We're going to imagine scheduling it, and then we're going to schedule it. You're going to open your eyes, schedule, and commit. Fire off the anchor. See yourself doing it, firing off the anchor. And then, all you're going to do is repeat the process. You're going to come back here. So say it was a 4 weeks period that we did. But coming to the end of that 4 weeks, you're just going to say, okay, where would I have to be at the end of the next 4 weeks in order for me to achieve that goal? And then just come back here and do the same process. After a while, it'll be an unconscious, conscious process that you'll do like a habit, but you've got this as a support. Okay? So it's okay with you. If it is okay, and it has to be okay, that you do not need anything. Nobody wants your attention. You're not working machinery. You're not driving. You're not doing anything that, say, needs your conscious attention because you're going to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just bring to mind the outcome that you desire, the outcome that you're going to plan to succeed in achieving. That's right. Just bring it to mind. State it with your internal voice. You can state it out loud, but if there's people around watching you with your eyes closed and speaking, it might seem a little weird, but weird is good. But just inside, state this goal with your inner voice. That's right. Breathe it in. And then imagine floating out into the future. That's right. Just imagine floating way over the timeline of your future. Just past the end of that goal. And if you were to know now, how would it be knowing that you've just achieved that goal, 100% certainty you've achieved it? Have a look around with your inner sight. What will you see? What will you see knowing that you've got this goal already? What will you think? What will you say to yourself with your internal voice? What will it be? How will you be speaking to yourself? Maybe notice how you're moving. We've talked about that before, getting the body set and the mindset together. How will you be moving? How will you be breathing when you've got this goal already? Maybe there's a smell and taste in the air of success. That's right. And when you put that all together, feel the feelings of having got this goal. Really feel them. And as you feel those feelings, imagine that you could double them now. That's right. And then make them even more intense by doubling them again. And as you double them again, get that little finger and thumb, squeeze it together gently, and just imagine the word that you'd say to yourself to know that you've got this goal. because it will come to you intuitively. That's right. And as that feeling gets more and more intense, squeeze that finger gently and have that word be repeated. That's right. And now, as you have that, you can let that finger and thumb go. We're going to use it again. Just know that when you do it the next time, you'll be firing off this feeling. And your unconscious mind can make that feeling even more intense. The moment you squeeze that finger and thumb together and say that word, your unconscious mind can generate this feeling in every cell of your body. That's right. So now take a lovely in-breath with me. That's right. And then just let it out and drift down. Just drift a little down into comfort. Now, just imagine that you know realistically. So it's not an overestimate. It's not too long. How long will this project take? How long will it take you to get to achieving this goal? Yeah. How long will it take you to get to that very last step? And then, consciously and unconsciously, just as if you know intuitively, where would you have to be at the halfway stage? Because if you got to that place at halfway, you just knew the goal is in sight. And then you could say, well, where would I have to be between now and then, halfway between then? Until you come to a place of 4 weeks. Where would I have to be in 4 weeks' time from now in order for me to know that I can get that goal by this process of every 4 weeks? And if it's shorter rather than 4 weeks, where's halfway? Where would I have to be halfway in 2 weeks, 1 week, in order for me to know that if I got there, that goal is in my touching distance, it's in my grasp, I can feel it. And as you realize this last step of this shorter period now, just imagine you had a movie of you carrying out that work right from now all the way to that last step in 4 weeks' time, or however long it is now. And imagine going to the end and rewinding it so your unconscious mind can notice the smaller steps all the way back to now. And when you're back to now, just ask yourself, what's the very first step that I took now? If I took it now, it would lead to all the next steps to get to that very last step. Intuitively it will come, and you may even see the second and the third. And as you're thinking of that, hold that finger and thumb together, squeeze it gently, feel the feeling, and say that word. The word that you just know that you're going to get it. That's right. Feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Your why, your purpose, knowing that you cannot be stopped. That's right. And then let go of that finger and imagine yourself now scheduling this out in your diary or whatever plan you use. Scheduling it out so you can think of step by step that will come to you intuitively to get there. And even as you think of that scheduling now, put that finger and thumb together, fire off that anchor and feel the feeling, having already got the whole goal, and allow it to infuse all of these smaller steps. And as you feel that feeling, imagine yourself now doing the steps achieving. Feel the sense of achievement in every step along the way. And as you feel those feelings, just say to yourself in your unconscious mind, this or something better. That's it. This or something better. So your unconscious mind, your unconscious, can help you find the resources to achieve every goal, every step of the way. And your unconscious mind can also notice all the new opportunities that will come your way, all the information you need, all the support, all the learnings that you'll need to achieve every step along the way to every part of this goal. So you know now, as you squeeze that finger and thumb together, say that word, you know this is the feeling of achieving that goal. And then in a moment, while this just all integrates between your conscious mind and unconscious mind, we're going to open our eyes. And when you do, I want you to commit to scheduling this out, just like we've done in our imagination, and committing. And when you do that, when you're in the physical world of scheduling and committing, you're going to fire that anchor off again, finger and thumb, and say that word. And every day you're going to hit that ground running, creating massive change in your life. Because this will not only allow you to get that goal, but will allow you to achieve so many other things. Because it will generalize into all areas of your life. The confidence that you get, the learnings that you achieve, you generate, the experiences that you have will feed into different areas of your life, different contexts, and give you more support than you could ever dream of. Now that is something. There you go. So with that, take a lovely in-breath with me. Let it out. And open your eyes. There you go. And that's it. That is a process. You can come back to this each time. I may take this little element out, put it into a separate track on the hypnosis tracks that I have at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Sign up for those, and there's loads of bloody hypnosis tracks and NLP processes. And this may be another one, okay? Because I think it was pretty good. And it's the right way to do it. No more overwhelm. No more overwhelm. No more, I wish I'd done it. I wish I'd carried on. Because you can all do that. Everyone can do this for a short period of time. And then another short period of time, because you build on the successes that you've created. Because this is you now. You become that confident person who makes decisions, who schedules, who commits, and carries out the work. And as I say, that confidence will spread into different areas of your life, and you will then be the example of what can be done. Now, please, if you want to, and it's pretty good, I think, if you could explain this to somebody else, or could you explain it to yourself? If you can't find somebody else to explain it to yourself. Could you write it down, what we've done, so you understand it? So every time you come back to this process, you just know the steps along the way, and it'll just sink in even deeper and quicker, and it'll be even better and stronger and more intense. So if you do that, but if you do share it, please share this episode. Please tell people about this personal development unplugged podcast of mine. It is changing. You'll notice that there's a lot more processes coming through. So it's going to be real work in progress that we're going to take from here to there and find success in everything. And if there's any things that we have with our mental health, we have issues, we have anxiety, we have lack of confidence, we have that bloody syndrome here and a syndrome there, there'll be ways to do that too. Okay? So please share. And if you press that subscribe button, the thing about the subscribe button is I love Love sharing. Obviously, sharing really works because then other people can subscribe. But if you subscribe yourself, you know the next episode is going to turn up on that bloody device of yours. Don't put on the notifications, though. I know everyone, press the notification. Because if you do, and you do it to everyone, your phone will be pinging everywhere. And that's no good to anybody. We just got to get on with our life. Because you've got these things to do. You've got to create success. Be the success that you deserve. Because I'm here to support that. And I will. I got your back. I got your back. Okay? So with that, have more fun than you can stand. And enjoy. Because it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.